Today on the Behind the Book podcast, I'll be joined by author David Desmond to discuss his new novel, The Misadventures of Oliver Booth.
Hello, it's good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. To begin, how did you come up with the inspiration for this book?
Well, the book really came from my experiences when I was building my house in Palm Beach, when my wife and I had to travel to Paris a number of times and shop for antiques for our house. Back when the euro was weak, we encountered many interesting and quirky French antique dealers and their little dogs, and many American interior decorators over there too, and their typically trophy wife clients. And after moving to Palm Beach and buying an apartment in Paris and meeting more and more people and attending fancy gala benefits and all of that, I said to myself, you know what, there's a novel in this, and I have to write it.
And just so our audience knows, you have a fairly famous family. I know that your mother is Marianne Trump Berry of the United States Court of Appeals, and your uncle is Donald Trump. You must have had an incredible upbringing. And has this influenced the inspiration for this book, your upbringing?
Absolutely. I have a bunch of wonderful role models in my family. I mean, it started with my grandfather, who went from being basically a carpenter's laborer to building a real estate empire in much of New York, and then Donald taking that advantage and growing it into something of worldwide renown. And then my mom being a stay-at-home mom until I went to high school, then going to law school, and then being appointed a federal judge by Ronald Reagan, promoted by Bill Clinton. These are wonderful role models who taught me basically to set my sights high and work hard, and I could achieve anything I want.
Well, along those same lines, I know that you have a master's and a PhD in clinical psychology from Fordham. Has that influenced the way that you looked at your characters in the novel? Absolutely.
I'd like to think that I understand my characters a little bit better than another person might, simply because of my advanced training. So I try to take the insights that I develop from my background in psychology to develop the characters, and then perhaps give them a little bit of a twist, to turn them a bit into a caricature of people we'll see in our everyday lives, to make them a little bit more entertaining.
Can you talk a little bit about this quote that you put in your book? You took it from Victor Hugo, the famed author, he said he would rather live in an intelligent hell than a stupid paradise. Do you feel that the people in your novel live in a quote-unquote stupid paradise?
Well, I think certainly Palm Beach is a paradise in terms of the beauty of the landscape and the weather. I think that if there's any stupidity, it's not the island's fault. I think there's certainly a shallowness that exists among a certain part of our population, among the so-called upper crust. You know, people who are very materialistic and are buying things to impress their neighbors, who are basically people who really can't be impressed. They simply become jealous. And it's a very difficult way to live one's life. So yes, in a way it is a shallow paradise, but a wonderful place to live nonetheless.
What do you hope your readers will take away from the novel? Is there some lesson they should learn, or, why should we buy the book?
Well, I'm not here to teach a lesson, I would say. I'm here hopefully to offer a book that's going to be very entertaining. That's really my primary goal. But if folks can be entertained, but also, having finished the book, say to themselves, I'm going to reflect just a little bit more about who I am and how I relate to others, perhaps be a little bit less excessively materialistic, I think that would be an additional benefit of the book that I'd be very proud of, if that were possible.
My guest today is David Desmond. He is the author of The Misadventures of Oliver Booth, and I know there's a sequel coming out, correct?
That's right.
And there's a website?
The website is oliverbooth.com.
David, it's truly a pleasure speaking with you. Good luck with the book.
Thanks very much.